Well, as you can see, I fitted the rear of the bodywork on the car. There is a slight problem, as you can probably see there. That's not, if you like, sitting flush. So I'm going to make some brackets up, and I'll deal with that by means of a small bracket and a rivet in all probability. So that's the next job I'm going to do. I've just been going around tightening up nuts and bolts now that the rear is sorted, and setting the suspension so that I can glue the actual rear axle to the engine, which is my plan, but I might just rethink that. There is a possibility I could fix that to here by drilling down and through the rear axle. Won't look brilliant, but it's probably better than trying to, engage that with the engine so it can never ever come apart again. So watch this space. Whilst I've not fixed anything at the moment, I've just taken the opportunity to basically assemble what I can on the car, which is pretty much most of it, just to check the fit of everything. I can see I've got a bit of a problem here that I'm going to have to address. And the other thing I've discovered is this little bracket won't go in there. It seems to be a little bit too high. Although this one looks as though it stretches a little bit longer than this one. So I'll probably change those and see if that solves my issue. But overall, everything's looking to fit reasonably well. So get back on with progress, and I'll talk to you later. As you can see, I've taken all of the components off the car again in order to do some more bits and pieces on the chassis and other parts of the car. You'll notice I made a stand. So one of the things I'll be doing now with the body on is having to work on the bottom of the car, and I clearly don't want that to be the car sitting on the table, A, because it'll scratch the table, and B, because there's a possibility that I'll damage the paintwork on the car. So I built the stand so the car can sit that way, and I can flip it over and work on the bottom while it's all suspended in the air. I'm just going to move forward a little bit. Let's just get down here. So one of the things I talked about was the rear. Let me just move this a little bit more. So the rear axle is floating on the springs, and it's quite possible for the axle to move backwards and pull the drive shaft out of the engine. And one way around that obviously would be to glue the drive shaft into the engine, but I thought if I ever wanted to take it apart, then that becomes a major problem. So what I've done is I've come up with a different way of rigidly attaching the rear axle, and I've made this little component, and this component will go into the small screw hole that you can see down here, like so. If I can get that in, just push that in there, which is going to stop the axle from moving backwards. And I'm going to fix that to this cross member, which was originally designed to take the bottom of the seat. So the tub was screwed in by attachments on the bottom of the seat. As you know, I've got rid of the seat and built my own seat. So these two holes are now effectively vacant. And what I intend to do is to screw through these two small olives down into that chassis, and that will stop the whole of the back axle moving backwards and forwards, and will allow it to be fixed without the need to glue here. I will be gluing this little components on the axle, as you can see, but I won't actually be gluing the main prop shaft into the engine body. So I'm going to fix those now. They will be fixed to the bottom of the seat, sorry, to the bottom of the floor. One of the problems I ran across was I wanted to put different screws in. So I wanted to put countersunk screws in, as you can see here. And when I tried to do a bit of countersinking, what I discovered was that not a lot of plastic there, and I went through the plastic very easily. So what I've done is, you can see these brass inserts. So I made a couple of brass inserts. They go, you can see them on the other side. So they go into the tubes. You can see one of the tubes there. Just sufficiently to hold them. They're super glued in. And the water tank, I had to drill these holes out somewhat to get the water tank fittings to go in them. So that's the plan for the water tank and the modifications I've made for that. So I'm going to get on, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to put the floor pan in, and then I shall start further assembly. Probably getting the main tub on today. So watch this space. And as you can see here, I've now fitted this component that I made. It kind of locks this rear axle pretty tightly, so there's no movement in that. I will be gluing this little piece, which can rotate. This piece here, as you can see it moving, onto the prop shaft with a little bit of super glue. I won't be bothering painting these screws as they're hidden under the seat and the floor once the car's assembled, and I'll check to see if they're visible, but if they're not, then I'll just leave them as they are. So it's on to the next task.